Arc, Void, Solar, Stasis, Strand. Long ago, the 5 elements lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when Lightfall attacked. Only this sick build, master of all 5 elements, could redeem this expansion. But when the world needed it most, it vanished. Many resets passed, and Reddit and I discovered the key. A shotgun, wielding solar and stasis. And although its champion stunning skills are great, it has a lot to prove before it's ready to save anything. But I believe this build can save the world. Alright, enough theatrics. This build lets you master all 5 Destiny elements all at once. Now our goal with this build is to have as many subclass keywords available to us as possible. And we're not talking 5, 6, 7, or even 10. This build lets us get a whopping 12 subclass keywords available at the same time. Not only does this awaken everyone's childhood dream of becoming the Avatar, but it is the ultimate Swiss Army knife of champion stunning as well. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Now, there were a lot of possible picks when it came to crafting the perfect version of this build. And after a lot of narrowing down, it ultimately came to one perfect build. Before we get into any major build choices, let's look at the current seasonal artifact mods that we'll need to get this done. For Season 20, those are Volatile Flow and Allied Unraveling. Volatile Flow providing our volatile keyword, and Allied Unraveling giving us unraveling rounds. Keep these in mind as we go forward. So first, let's look at our subclass of choice. For me, Voidwalker was an easy winner, mostly for its unique ability to choose which keywords you want to build into via your fragments. There were other subclass options, but Void not only gives us 6 keywords to add to our list, but also gives us damage buffs and debuffs that'll make this build even more viable in harder content. So let's look at the available keywords and how we're going to get all of them. We've got enemy affecting keywords with Suppress, Volatile, and Weaken, as well as user affecting keywords with Devour, Invisibility, and Overshield. We get Suppress from our Suppressor Grenade, Volatile from our Melee, Pocket Singularity, as well as the Volatile Flow seasonal mod, and Weaken from Child of the Old Gods and Echo of Undermining. We get Devour from Echo of Starvation, as well as Feed the Void, Invisibility from Finishers utilizing Echo of Obscurity, and Overshield from the new Echo of Vigilance. And as a note, the only trade-off I'd make here is with Echo of Undermining. If you don't want a redundancy for Weaken, or you simply don't want -20 to your discipline, Echo of Persistence is a great alternative. Now let's move on to exotics. Interestingly enough, according to the data available to me, there are only 2 exotic armors in the entire game that have intrinsic keywords. And of course, those both being Warlock boots. The first being Second Filaments, which grants Devour when casting your Rift. And the second being Rain of Fire, which grants you Radiant when you get a kill with a linear or regular fusion rifle. Because we already have Devour taken care of in multiple ways, we will be using Rain of Fire to add Radiant to the list. For our exotic weapon, it came down to 2 options. The first being Two-Tailed Fox, and with the catalyst, grants both Suppress and Jolt. And the second option was the newest raid exotic Conditional Finality, which grants both Freeze and Ignite. Because using our heavy slot for an exotic proved a bit too constraining, and the fact that Suppress is already accounted for, we will be using Conditional Finality instead of Two-Tailed Fox. Now all of that accounts for 9 keywords, 6 from our subclass, 2 from our exotic weapon, and 1 from our exotic armor. But what about the other 3? And we haven't even touched Arc or Strand yet. Hold on, I'm getting there. Now let's look at our other 2 weapons. First, our secondary weapon needs to be a fusion rifle to take advantage of Rain of Fire. But we also need our secondary to get us another keyword. In come the Iterative Loop fusion rifle from Neomuna. This fusion rifle has the ability to roll with Bolt Shot, successfully taking advantage of Rain of Fire while also dipping our toes into Arc. And finally, for our heavy weapon, we need to take advantage of Strand. Not only to take advantage of the seasonal mod Allied Unraveling, but to add an additional keyword from Strand as well. In come yet another Neomuna weapon, the Strand Machine Gun Circular Logic, which has the ability to roll with the Hatchling perk, giving us our 12th and final keyword in Threadling. In the middle of this recording, I decided, man, I really should have these weapons with these rolls. Let me go farm Neomuna for these guns. I just spent the last 5 hours farming yellow patrols to try to get not both, but at least one of these weapons with either Volt Shot or Hatchling, and I did not get a single one. I got many iterative loops, no Volt Shot, and I got zero circular logics. This is a build video about being Aang the Avatar in Destiny 2, but by God, please fix Neomuna farming methods for red borders, for anything, for the weapons. Oh my God, I'm tired. And I still don't have what I want. So when you watch the video and you watch the gameplay and you realize he said the fusion rifle has Volt Shot. Well, in theory it does, but I don't have it. And I'm sorry that I don't have it, but I wish I did. And if you want to take advantage of this build, you should have it too. But man, I pray mercy on your soul for trying to farm for it. Now let's move on with the video.
But Seated, that can't possibly be a good build. And you said it was a champion stunning machine. I don't think—
Shut up. I'm not done yet. Let's get into how this build actually plays out. Is it actually viable outside of the easiest content? Well, yeah. Having all these keywords at your disposal, thanks to recent updates, give you not 1, but 2 inherent methods to take care of all 3 champions in one build. For Unstoppables, you have Freeze and Ignite in one gun. For barriers, you have Radiant and Volatile, which can be applied using any gun using your Void melee. And for overloads, you have the obvious Volt Shot for Jolt, and the often forgotten method, Suppression, from your Suppressor Grenade. This build involves swapping weapons on a dime, using all of your abilities at your disposal, as well as running one of the game's strongest loadout options, Double Special. Needless to say, this is a champion stunning machine, and viable in almost all content. So here's some gameplay tips. Your main ad clearing tool is going to be your Circular Logic. For easier content, feel free to spam abilities, use your shotgun or fusion rifle whenever you'd like. But in more difficult content, you're going to want to use your heavy as your main source of ad clear. And don't worry about running out of ammo on your heavy, because running Double Special actually is proven to drop heavy bricks more often. But what about enemies that don't just fall over? Here's where some keywords come in. For more difficult ads, and even boss damage, first, you're going to want to get any kill with your fusion rifle. This will proc 7.5 seconds of Radiant. Immediately after that kill, you're going to want to pop your Rift. This will set up your weakening Child of the Old Gods for when you actually start doing damage. Also, a quick tip is that you can actually switch to your Circular Logic while popping your Rift so that it is out once your Rift is up. Now, aim and shoot. This is most effective when trying to clear a clump of ads or do boss damage. You're basically just going to want your Child of the Old Gods on any enemy that you want to kill. With all of those damage buffs and debuffs applied, and assuming that your rift is an empowering rift, that gives you a 60% damage buff to all weapons for 16.5 seconds, or the duration of your rift. Assuming that once the 7.5 seconds of Radiant runs out, you get one more fusion kill to keep it going. Is this the highest DPS build possible? Well, no, of course not. But this build has tons of survivability in almost constant devour, invisibility on finishers, an overshield when things get dicey, and an inherent freeze for anything that gets too close. And not to mention the almost always on 60% damage buff to all your weapons. And your insane champion stunning abilities without having to use any seasonal mods. That just makes this build even more viable across all future seasons. Are you going to be one-phasing solo Master Keitel? No. But this makes in-game content a breeze and really fun. And if you're someone who doesn't like to switch around builds every 5 seconds, depending on the activity, then this build is for you. And that's the build. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. And let me know if you think Zuko should have ended up with Katara. We all felt the same way. Really hope you guys enjoyed this build. There was a lot of thought put into every part of it, and I still wish I could squeeze just one more keyword in there, but nevertheless. As always, like and sub if you want to see more, and stay safe out there, Guardians. I'll see you next time.